on top of our lungs, dancing by the lakeside, gonna do it while we're young. In a moment it will all be gone.
Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a Food for Busy Mums video. I am preparing for myself, busy mum here, I'm preparing for myself some little, I'll guess say pre-made breakfast bags. This is to go into my eggs. I have found if I start off my day with eggs, it's probably my body type and whatever's going on inside of my body for sure, but it helps me get through most of the day, because I found if I actually eat more protein, then I'm able to last longer than, you know, having to go and eat an hour later after toast or cereal or something like that, you know what I mean? So it just fills me up for longer, and eggs I really like. I love throwing all this stuff into eggs. So if I can make little ready-made pouches for the freezer, and I can just quickly crack some eggs in a pan, and then, or if I want to put milk and sort of do like a scrambled egg thing and then throw this bag of stuff in, it's really quick and easy. There's no prep involved in the morning for me, and I can just get it done and then get on with my day for working or whatever I'm doing. So I like to make these up. I haven't done them for ages, but I'm going to do them today, and I thought I would just share this with you. So what am I putting in mine? I like to put in some onion. Yes, I have frozen onion. I don't chop up my own onion. I don't want to. I don't like it. I like eating it, but I do not like chopping it. I hate it. So I buy the frozen bags already done, and that saves me a ton of time. I'm going to be doing some capsicum cut up. I'll use red or green, doesn't really matter. It just depends what I've got. I've got capsicum here that I got on a like a cheap deal. You know, the I'm Perfect range, the Marketplace range from Aldi, the Odd Bunch from I think Woolworths. You can get all those and you can get a really good deal. You just never know what type of capsicum you're going to get, whether it's red, green, or maybe sometimes a little bit of yellow, but to me it doesn't matter. I'll use all of them. So that's how I got those on a cheap deal. I do have some tomatoes here which I'm actually going to cut up, and I'll explain why on that. I'm going to put a little bit of cheese in as well. I don't normally put a lot of cheese in, but again, it's a good source of protein, so I like to put that in as well. And then I have spinach. So if you did watch the grocery haul, when I showed you guys this, I actually put it in the freezer, and I explained that I would be using it in this video. I buy bags of spinach, I put them in the freezer and let them freeze. So when I get to this point, I open the bag and then I just crush it like this, and it's amazing. It crushes it all up. I don't have to chop anything up, and then I can just put it into my bag. I'm going to put that back in the freezer now because some of it's defrosted already, but it just breaks it up into smaller bits, and then you can just grab handfuls out of it for smoothies and for like cooking, like all that kind of stuff. If that's what you're going to use it for, put it in the freezer and it'll last for ages. Tools, I'm not using anything complicated. I've got a chopping board, I've got a knife. That's all I'm using. If you have like one of those hand choppers or some sort of processor, that of course would be great. I just don't have that, so this is what I use. And to be honest, the only thing I'm really cutting up a lot of is the capsicum, but everything else is kind of pre-done and stuff, so I'm just throwing it together. And then I've got a couple of bowls here, just paper ones, so I can easily throw them out and save myself some time on wash up. I've got these just to put in probably the tomato and the capsicum once I've chopped those up. I do have some small bags, so I think last time I did this I actually used sandwich bags, which were quite big, but I think for me, because I'm just doing it for one person, and Johnny can have these too, by the way, it's not like it's just for me, but I'm probably the one that's going to have them the most. I think a small bag will be enough. I did use a sandwich bag last time and it kind of was a bit of a waste of space, so I'm going to see how I go with this and try to use that. And then I actually also have some baking paper. Now the reason I'm going to use baking paper is honestly to save myself some wash up time, so I can just get this done quickly. And what I tend to do, I do this all the time for veggies, okay? I will put down piece of baking paper, cut the first thing up on here, and then scrunch up the paper, throw it in the bin, dishes done. Okay, so for example, capsicum, cut it up, it's going to be watery and stuff, it's not going to seep through to the other side. I'm going to get this done, put it in the bowl, throw that out, and then I could put more paper down again if I was to cut something else. So if I'm doing a garden salad, this is a great way. I'll do carrot, get rid of it, capsicum, get rid of it, do a cucumber and get rid of it. So it's just a little trick I used to use and I can still continue to use to this day. So most of the time I do this now and it just saves a ton of time. So I am going to start cutting up probably some capsicum. I think because I'm doing it in the eggs, I'm actually going to be, oh, let me get some paper. I've just got a piece of paper towel so I can actually put bits I'm not using onto there. And then I just throw that in the bin. Again, saves me a ton of time on cleanup, guys. So I just pull out the inside bits that I can. Now, because these were like the Odd Bunch or I'm Perfect sort of range, they're a little bit oddly shaped, so it can be a bit hard to get bits out, but this one's actually not too bad. I've got some seeds. I'm just going to wash out the inside of this. Cut this one in half to show you, so you can sort of see like that. Now, because they're odd shape, I kind of need to cut it so I can at least access it somewhat. It is hard to cut when it's one of these, but it's by far the cheapest way of, you know, getting your veggies, obviously. Capsicum, this is what I do. It saves me a ton of time if I'm dicing. So I'm just gonna cut it through to the top, but not all the way through, you can see, like that. Because then, let me get this bit. Then I'm just gonna go like this. I don't have sharp knives, guys, so I'm not the best. I'm not a chef cutting at all. I'm just doing what I do. All right, there you go. So that's quick and easy. There's no mucking around. It's done. So I'm just going to cut up the rest of this capsicum and pop this into a bowl. I've just double layered this over because it was cutting through, and sometimes I do double layer it. I don't know why I didn't do that. It depends on what knife I'm using, to be honest, but this knife is not the sharpest knife, so I'm pushing down a lot harder, so it's sort of cutting through a little bit. Okay, so that's done. Capsicum done. I'm just going to give that a little wipe with the paper towel. I might use like a wet sponge and just wipe it down in a little while when I do it, but I don't need to do a full wash with it. It probably did go through this a little bit more than what it normally would because I cut up so many capsicums, but when I'm doing one at a time like that and then, you know, getting rid of it and then doing cucumber and getting rid of it, doing carrot, it doesn't really go through. So I would suggest though, like sort of double layering it if you can as well. I only did one layer to begin with, but it should have been two. So that's done on that. So the only other thing I've got to do, I've got to cut up tomatoes. So I'm going to use these tomatoes. Now, if you wanted to use big tomatoes and dice them up, you could do that. However, I found, especially with the freezing side of it, it's a little bit too watery for the bags. So I prefer to use these. And we always choose these ones because of the shape, because the kids like to eat these by themselves, you know, when we have salad on our plate and stuff like that too, or just as a snack, honestly. So they work better than the cherry ones for me. So that's why I've got these. Now, this is a big packet. It's 350 grams and I got it at a good deal for like $3.90, I think it was. But if you want a lot of them, Costco's a great option because they sell like a massive, I think it's around 1 kilo of this, the grape style or mini Roma, they'll call them, tomatoes. And it's around $8 or $9 usually, like it's pretty cheap. But this is what I like to use for my cooking. All I'm gonna do is just cut them in half. That's all I want. I just want them halves. It's just that when they go into the eggs, they're not rolling around the pan too much. And this kind of sticks into the egg, so I like it like this. Tomatoes are done. Again, quick cleanup. No dishes required. All right, so next I'm getting the cheese prepared. Nothing to do with the cheese because I don't need to grate it because I bought it like this. I just want to point out which cheese I'm using. I'm using this pizza cheese. This is from Aldi. It's a really great price. I think for this bag it's 500 grams and I paid no more than $7 for it. Like, it's a really good price. It's a great mix for cooking. So I would use this on top of baked potatoes, casseroles, lasagna, anything like that. I use this because it crisps up really well, as well as pizzas, of course, too, when I do pizzas. But it's great to throw it in the eggs too. Like, it's a good cheese that works well and tastes good. All right, the spinach. I just want to show you exactly how it looks. See what I mean by just crushing it up when it's frozen. I have not had to chop that. Saved, again, ton of time in cleaning up and just cutting up. I'm just gonna pour some into here. You might have some bigger chunks. Woo, I'm making a mess. You might have a few bigger chunks here, but you can easily just break them because they're frozen. If you find it's starting to defrost too quickly, just put this back in the freezer and it'll freeze up really quickly. So, but I'm just gonna fill some of this into this bowl just so it's easy for me to pull out when I'm actually bagging it up. All right, that looks good. Like I said, you can just pull this straight out of the bag if you want to put it in a Ziploc bag after you crush it up. you can keep that in the freezer and just pull out handfuls if you're using it for specific things like different cooking things, smoothies, all of that. Or again, you can prepare it like this for smoothies as well. I'll probably do another video actually to do with smoothies as well, because Isabella loves smoothies. So I've been buying frozen fruits and things and doing them. I need to find a quicker way of doing that on a school morning. So I am actually going to make up smoothie little bags as well. So I'll do another video on that when I get to it, because I think I might make some up for myself as well with things that I wouldn't put in for Isabella, like my protein powder, maybe some peanut butter, you know, stuff like that, maybe some spinach into it. So I'll do that in another video. Comment below if you'd like to see that, because I'll definitely do that for you guys. The onion, like I said, I've bought frozen. It might have cost me a little bit more, but by the time I buy brown onions, peel all the stuff off, chop the things off I'm not going to use and all of that, I'm throwing stuff out that I've paid for. At least with the bag, I'm using every single bit of it, which is great. And like I said, super convenient for cooking, because most of the time when I was buying brown onions, because to get a good deal, obviously you'd buy a lot of them like in a bag or something, and most of the time they were going bad in my pantry, so then I was wasting them and throwing them out, costing me more money. So this definitely just works better for me. You can get these bags at Aldi, Coles and Woolworths now, all three places. They used to be about $2, they're now about $3, but the cost of onions have gone up as well, so that's not surprising. But I use it for cooking all the time, like so much so. And you know, I'm making up these bags now for my egg, like for my breakfast, for my eggs, definitely, or if you're making omelets or, you know, anything like that. That's what I'm using these bags for. However, I have many a times, if you haven't seen it, I'm sure there's a video here on the channel somewhere where I'm doing some meal prep. I use these, grate up zucchini, carrot, dice up the capsicum and all that, and make freezer bags of that mix, because I use it quite often in my cooking. So I just love this, honestly, and I do throw it into those bags as much as possible. So I'm just going to use a bowl just for a bit of stability. That's really why I do it. If you've got a sandwich bag and you're like bagging up frozen foods and stuff like that, like bigger Ziploc bags, then having a bowl like this just helps it stay steady rather than just doing it on like a bench or something. So that's why I use it. So we're just going to throw in some capsicum, a few tomatoes, spinach. I do like to do a fair bit of spinach, so this is why I'm thinking, oh, I don't know if this will all fit, to be honest. It's not too bad. Some onion in there. Oh, I don't know if it's gonna work. I might need to use the bigger bags. Oh no, that might be all right. I am only planning on, it's a matter of me doing the bag up now is the problem. See, with the sandwich bag, I just wasn't taking up the whole space because it's just portioned for one, but, oh no, this might be all right. Oh, that's not bad at all. I think that's pretty good. I've got spinach all over me. Yeah, you can sort of see the layers there, and that's fine. So if you wanted to date them, you could. I'm just making them, I'm going to use these quickly, so I'm not going to bother dating them at all. If you wanted to put bacon or, you know, some sort of other meat in there, you could definitely do that. I definitely obviously need to use a bigger bag, but I tend to just use this mix, and that's what I like in my eggs. So I think that'll work pretty well. I'm just going to make up the rest of the bags and see how many I actually get. All right, literally the only dishes I've got is these two things, which are going to be so easy. I can just rinse these off and they're done. The other dishes I have are these, which is simply put them like this and throw them in the bin. So that's done. Okay, so I've got 6 bags done, which is great. So I've got pretty much a full week of school, Monday to Friday, and then a spare one to get me started on the Monday if I want to do this again. So I think that's a really good mix. Generally on the weekend, if Johnny's home, I will have breakfast with him, so we kind of cook from scratch then. Together. So yeah, this is great. This is a good setup for me. It's just going to help me immensely in the morning just to get out faster. So my bags are done. Super excited. Going to pop them in the freezer. So like I said, for me, this is just to help me out in the morning to get breakfast on the plate quicker for me. It's so I eat something proper. It's so I can start my day and not feel hungry, especially if I go out and do Uber first and then I come home and do the rest of my business stuff. If I'm going out and doing Uber, I have a really bad habit of you know, actually just going through the drive-through and getting like bacon and egg McMuffin or something like that. One, it costs more, obviously, and two, it's probably not the best thing all the time to have. So I really like having this kind of thing. It's been a while since I did them, so I was very excited. Do let me know in the comments if you're very interested in seeing how I make up the smoothie bags as well, because I'll definitely do that to help me in the morning with Isabella for her breakfast, because that will help me save time. But yeah, I'm pretty excited that I've got these done, and I'm looking forward to my next breakfast for sure. All right guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. I hope this was helpful for someone. Let me know in the comments if you do something similar, and I will see you guys probably tomorrow. Bye.